See this episode's show notes for our unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account. Get your show on Apple and Spotify, get helpful stats, and all the support you need to sound your very best.
Hi, this is Al of Resurrections, an Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast, and proud member of the collective, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 316. And you
that sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah.
Good. Yeah, we passed the pie. Passed the pie, and then we spoke to Jed. So that sounds about right. Listeners, you are live streaming, if you are, with us. Two High Press of KHONSHU, Rebecca and Ray. Rebecca, hello.
Hello.
I should have just. I should have gone. Hello.
Oh, I wouldn't have listened. I wouldn't have paid attention. Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Blue Monday in the UK, so you get a very drab.
Yeah, but you're on holidays, or just the day off?
I am. Thank you, America, for Martin Luther King Day. Meaning I don't have to do any work this afternoon. Yeah.
Just chillax and talk about some Moon Knight goodness. And as always, loony listeners, you are joining us, for this instance, on a Moonshine. Yes. So Rebecca and I will be looking at the latest and greatest from Jed MacKay and Federico Sabbatini this time, Rebecca. But, he's no stranger.
Yep. We had him last time, so there's some continuity there as well. So.
Yes, absolutely right. So we'll be getting into that as the main component of the show. As always, a huge thank you to all our patroonies. Thank you so much for sticking with us. It's a brand new year, and hopefully you'll be with us again. And we've got things happening, as mentioned last episode. Got a little something that preparing for you, so that's good. A big thank you to the likes of big thank you to our principal sponsors, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank the Think Tank, and our two other sponsors, CLZ Comics and Dreamland Comics from Schoenberg, Illinois. So Rebecca, we're here again. We had a nice chat with Jed, and before
we got his height out of him, all the things you wanted in life.
Yeah, that really surprised me. What was that, 6'5"?
6'5", yeah.
Tall
Can never
timber.
meet him. Yeah.
Tall timber, yeah. But we got a lot more than that. Of course, Jed was always so gracious with his time. We got to chat about the last 6 or so issues, and we got a fresh one coming up, Rebecca. For those that know Commodore Planet, what's going on there.
What is going on there? It's a cool cover, though. It is a cool cover.
It is a cool cover. By way of white noise, loonies, there's not much. To be fair, been a bit busy, but I don't think there's anything, Rebecca. Other than the rumor. There's that rumor you probably saw. Did you see that?
Did I see it?
That Moon Knight apparently season 2 will commence. Just before, I think, or around the time of Secret Wars, when that movie's out.
I kind of ignore those kind of rumors a little bit, because no one really knows the timing, and Marvel changes it.
Exactly.
But we'll see. HMV in the UK has a Moon Knight poster. I will tell you that.
Oh,
I popped in yesterday, and there was a Moon Knight poster.
HMV, that's a blast from the past.
I never go in. We were killing time before a bus, and I was like, "Oh, look, a Moon Knight poster." Didn't buy it, but
I want to give actually a shout out to one of our valued loonies and one of the hosts of Capes on the Couch, Anthony Sitko, I saw on the Discord, Rebecca, I'm not sure if you saw it, his LCS guy gave him a one-to-one.
I'm so jealous.
Oh, how good is that?
Gave him one of the cardboard standees, yeah.
To Mr. Knight. So,
yeah.
Whether you like I think the LCS guy said to Anthony anyway, I know you didn't like the TV show, but I could not get this for you. So, Anthony was over the moon, pun intended. So it just goes to show, Loonies, that it pays to support your local LCS and,
for sure.
Strike up a cool relationship. And if you're lucky, then you might, be fortunate enough to get little incentives like that as well. Yeah, I know Lilith from Capes on Capes and Lunatics. I know she gets lots of freebies from her LCS.
Nice.
So yeah. Is it Forbidden Planet for you?
Yeah,
Rebecca?
we don't have a comic shop in Milton Keynes anymore, or not a proper one. There's one that does some comics, but they've kind of moved more to games. So I was with them for a while, but yeah, they don't really do the sort of up-to-date comics now, so I just get from Forbidden Planet. So none of those benefits for me, but that's
that's fine. I mean, it's all more about, I guess, the supporting. But it's been trundling. If you have one, yeah. I've been trundling back and forth to Kings. A shout out there. They're doing very well. Speaking to Nick, the owner's son, he's very cool. So yeah, it's always fun. Rebecca, shall we get into straight into our Moonshine review? Because there's not much really. There's no point in dilly dallying.
Yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Yes, this is our Moonshine review, and we are going to review Blood Moon Rising. That's issue 19, as we mentioned before. This was released January 11th, 2023, with a cover date of March 2023. We have writer Jed MacKay, penciler and inkers Federico Sabbatini, with colorist Rachelle Rosenberg, of course, letterer VC's Cory, Petit, and editor Tom Brevoort. So, listeners, if you're not familiar, as always, Rebecca and I will go through our bare bones. Now, Rebecca, Uncle Ray has not prepared something, nor has Wiki. I thought maybe they would have done something.
We'll just use the one from the comic, because we're going to go through it a little bit more than normal.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So we'll go through that, and then we'll go through our points. I mean,
it's going to be quite freeform, everyone. It's the post.
It's going to be freestyle.
Yeah.
This is the new era. Okay.
Yeah. We'll be a bit more organised for 20.
Yes, exactly. To be fair, Rebecca, we did release a couple of episodes, quick sticks. So
I mean, we just because we had the Jed interview to fit in, we didn't have as much prep time, and and also trying to sync up my times and Ray's times and work.
Oh, Rebecca, you are the best spin doctor I've ever heard. Thank you. So...
Please, sorry, it's not as organised as possible. It will be again, we promise.
Thank you. Yeah, Rebecca, would you like to just give the
yes,
blurb?
Let's do it. Blood Moon Rising. Moon Knight battled the Structure, a group of vampires led by the Tutor. The Tutor sent the assassins Grand Malin and Nemean after Moon Knight and his allies. The assassins managed to kill Moon Knight's fellow Fist of KHONSHU, Hunter's Moon, before they were defeated. A resurrected Hunter's Moon returned to aid Moon Knight during his final battle with the Structure, helping defeat the vampires. Meanwhile, the supervillain Zodiac has been imprisoned since almost destroying the Midnight Mission. Despite being imprisoned and having a new psychotherapist, Dr. Robert Plesko, Zodiac very much remains a threat. So not so much a summary of the issue as where we are as it opens.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I have to say, though, I think it's rather kind to refer to Zodiac as a supervillain.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more a villain right now.
He's a villain. If you
Villain
count
with some superpowers. So
if you count
maybe.
the no pain thing as a superpower, then yeah, I guess so. But yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you
you know,
mean. I mean,
I
he's not.
think it's he's not Doctor Doom.
He's still kind of small fry, and I say
Yeah,
that
a little
because
bit. I mean, that's fair. We love
yeah,
him, but
we
he's
love
got to earn.
yes.
He's got to do a bit more to earn the super villain for me.
He's got it absolutely. I mean, and it's rife for more stories there. So not only from
Yeah,
Jed, but from everyone else. So,
yeah,
um,
absolutely sure he will get there. Don't worry, I have
mhm.
faith in him. But
Yes, exactly. Let's before we dive into it, Rebecca, as always, let's I'll chuck up the covers. So this first one, of course, which kind of really got everyone going as
yeah, it
well
leaked a bit
because
early, right?
it
So
leaked. Yeah, it leaked early, and I think not only that, I think from memory we were all kind of yay 19, it's beyond 18, and we were just happy about that as well. But
yeah,
Commodore Planet. Interesting choice. Nice deep dive. I mean, considering along with Plesko as well. Lovely by Steven Segovia and Rachelle Rosenberg as always. Rebecca.
yeah.
A second one is the homage variant. Now this is pretty cool. This is by David Nakayama, and it riffs off, of course, Volume 1, Issue 1, Moon Knight, but with a more modern Moon Knight
Cast, yeah.
and cast as well, yeah. Hunter's Moon, and you've got Reese and Soldier and Tiger as well. So looking good there, Rebecca. I mean, I'd be keen on getting this one.
Yeah, I quite like this one. I quite like this one.
I
It's nice
should
to have
ask.
Soldier and Reese on the front, and
Yeah, absolutely. And Hunter's Moon looks really cool on the front cover too.
he does look pretty cool.
With a slight variation to Tigra there.
Yeah.
I think just I guess costume and her hairstyles a little bit more modern. I guess I don't know
Yeah,
what
a
you call
little
it.
bit funky.
I should have asked. Did you get the regular cover?
Yeah.
Yes, so did I as well. But
Honestly.
I will, if I have a little bit of extra coin hanging about, I will have a look for this one. That's good.
Yeah, I tend to look a couple of months after and see what's around still. So.
That's a good idea. And also, I mean, as a bit of like advice or recommendation as well, there are some really good, depending on where you are, there are some really good marketplaces on Facebook, like in groups. And,
yeah,
and
there
I,
are.
yeah,
Although I'm always a little bit dubious about them, but I know
are you?
everyone's done really. Yeah, because you never
Yeah.
know. But I know people who've got really good bargains. So
yeah, I frequent the Aussie ones, and they sell them for literally. You can get them if you're lucky for like cover price. Like I'm talking as in.
oh, that's
Like
nice.
for an Australian, I can get them for $4, which is half the price they're actually going for retail.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's really worth your while. I mean, I don't know how that translates over in the US, if those are worth it, or in the UK, Rebecca. But of course, you got to be careful. There are some scammers as well. But I tend to just buy from the usual pool of sellers, and that works. Yes, this other demonized variant by Philip Tan here, Rebecca. A little bit too much happening, I think, for me. For this,
it's not one I'd probably. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not one I would go for. It's not one that I would go. Oh, I want that on my shelf. You all know by now I go for prettier stuff generally, but I do like the actual blood moon in the background. So
I love the blood moon as well. I do. I mean, I do like the figure of Moon Knight. It's just a little bit confusing. Has he got like a necklace or are they extra
flaky.
arms? Yeah, he's got some sort of extra appendages coming off him. Rebecca.
You knew it was coming.
And I think the fourth one, which is the incentive variant. So I don't know, 1 to 25, Rebecca, or 1 to 50. I don't know, one of those ratios. One that I'll never be able to get. Lucio Perillo. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. It is very nice.
Moon Knight's costume, dare I say, it's literally painted on, Rebecca, is it not? It's
Yeah, literally. It's not that. It is just it's literally a naked Moon Knight with painted white
and a cape. Yeah, the moon on the background in the background as well, but nice kind of old architecture that he's leaping off to. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that as well. So those are the covers. Rebecca, and I guess first impressions then. shall we say first impressions? What did you make of issue 19?
It's pretty much setting. It's kind of like a stopping point, and then setting up whatever's going to come next. So it has that kind of sudden change of pace from what we've just had. So I thought it was interesting, but not necessarily wholly the standout issue of the run, I should say. Like, it was nice to see Zodiac again, and actually have a bit more to do. It was great to get the extra bit of the lore from Hunter's Moon about what happens when you're resurrected. Very much reminds me of the Iron Fist, Immortal Iron Fist, where you find out that all the previous Iron Fists died at 33. It's kind of like as if there's this kind of ticking time bomb behind them, and setting up that in this next arc, Mark isn't going to have that sort of comfort blanket of you can be resurrected. So it seemed that it was maybe a little bit exposition-y, but that it was set to action. So that I think that balanced it, and I think from some of the comments, different people have reacted to how the balance was done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Better or
for
worse.
sure.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I think it's a setup for what we're going to get next, and yeah, worked for me.
Yeah. Similar with you. I mean, I think it's as far as like, it's a weird one because like as far as setups go, like this is the beginning of the next arc, and we've talked about in the past about the first issue setting up what's to come. I feel it kind of it doesn't do that in the traditional sense, because I mean, after with the cover of Commodore Planet and the Mole Men and a little bit of Zodiac, I still don't know where it's going to go for this arc. But it does give those bits of info, as you say. Most notably,
we know what we're playing with. We just don't necessarily know what the trajectory is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is it going to be another Zodiac-centric arc? I mean, because it opens up with Zodiac, and although he's actually got motivation now, because jumping into one of the points, Plesko kind of gets under his skin by telling him that Soldier. Hello.
He just cried. I don't know if you heard him in the mic. No. He was crying for attention. So.
Live streamers, you can see our fourth High Priest of KHONSHU. Plesko gets under Zodiac's skin and tells him that Soldier is actually alive, because Zodiac pits Soldier's death as one of his wins.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's the case. Apart from that, Commodore Planet, I don't think he'll cause any more trouble. We got kind of almost like a case of the week with Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon going in, to get the mole to help the Mole Men. But I think the crux of this issue was, as you mentioned, Hunter's Moon's revelation about the Fist of KHONSHUs and that question that he poses. So, it's a weird one as setups go, because I don't know where it's going to go from here, but it was enjoyable. It has all the pieces kind of moving. What's one of the first kind of major aspects of this? What do you want to tackle first, Rebecca?
Well, I think we have to tackle the resurrections.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most, like, to me, the most important thing that actually came up here is finding out that that's the revelation, isn't it? Is that whichever Fist of KHONSHU dies next will not be resurrected, because KHONSHU. Oh well, I mean, there is a clause to that though. They will not be resurrected while KHONSHU's imprisoned.
Yes, that's right.
So I suspect that get out clause might be of interest.
Oh, that's very astute, actually. Yeah, you're right, because there's that little, because the way I read it initially was like, oh damn, so that's it.
And I think that's the kind of, well, there is this get out clause, which is free KHONSHU. So I wonder if, like, I mean, and that would be a very cool team up for Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon.
Yeah.
For Mark and Hunter's Moon, I guess we should say. How can we free him, and can we free him before one of us needs? I mean, neither of them have thought of that yet, so I wonder if one of them will have to be fairly injured before that happens.
Absolutely. Well, you know where we're heading, Rebecca. I'm going to call it out right now. The last episode of last year, Mario one of his predictions, and I've
Mhm.
got the list of predictions waiting to be kind of justified,
Yeah.
assessed. But he did say that there will be a big Khonshu arc coming up, so I can definitely see that. Actually, maybe you're right. Maybe where this is headed is not Zodiac, but maybe it's heading towards a big
But I
arc.
mean, like Zodiac could be the instigator of the.
It could be the instigator, but we could get this team up going up to try and free
Yeah.
Khonshu. I mean, how cool is that? Because it does remind me a little bit. Okay, this whole scenario, it reminded you of Iron Fist. It reminded me of both Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because and Wolverine, in the sense that
Yeah.
Wolverine's healing factor, when it goes, it leaves him vulnerable, but you just kind of want him to get it back, and it's kind of like this Moon Knight at the very beginning, the first page, or first couple of pages, he's here with Hunter's Moon, and Jed MacKay kind of like really reminds us that we don't die. That's the point of the Fists of Khonshu. And this is something that Jed has established throughout his whole run. But then, as you say, one of the main aspects of this issue is the fact that don't rely on being resurrected, because Khonshu said he's not going to do it again while he's in prison.
Yeah. So currently, Hunter's Moon's given him two scenarios. Don't be so cavalier.
Yep.
Don't do stupid things, and also, or die and you won't be resurrected. I mean, like, and Mark's had some times where he would probably choose that. So
Yep.
So, there is an interesting kind of thing there. Is like, is Mark now mentally more stable to not ever consider that maybe I'd be better off not being resurrected?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
not having this burden of being Moon Knight. So, I think he is, but we don't know what's coming. So,
I mean, also as well, Hunter's Moon mentions that every time you do come back resurrected, you lose a little bit of yourself. Like,
yeah, okay. I've also got another. Sorry, I just read the page where he says it, and I have another theory.
Nice.
Which is
Speculation.
Khonshu's lying.
Okay. He's just
Khonshu lies, and he just wants to be freed.
Very good. Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
My secondary one is Khonshu's unreliable, but he wants to be freed, and he is dangling resurrection because he knows what Mark's like.
Well, that could easily be the case as well, Rebecca. That's true as well. Just so like everyone knows, in case you haven't read this issue, so what we're kind of talking about is, so the Fist of Khonshu, I mean, only recently Hunter's Moon got resurrected. He was literally killed. He's come back to life. It's happened to Mark a few times as well. But what's the point at the beginning? They say, is it on this page as well? It says that, like, if we keep on coming back, then how come there's like a Hall of the Dead, right?
Yes.
I think that's the idea.
Which we also, I think we discussed that when we saw the first Hall of the Dead. It's like,
yeah.
Where did they come from? And
exactly. And if we are the ones now, like I think Hunter's Moon saying, like, if we're the ones from the 20th century, why are we the ones that are unbeatable when we're just in a long line of legacy like Moon Knight? So what differentiates us from everyone else? And I guess that's also maybe a question that Jed is addressing, because I think that came up early in the Bemis run. I remember when Bemis introduced that legacy idea where you saw Cowboy Moon Knight, everyone was going, well,
if they get resurrected, how come?
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
So I guess, I mean, like, even if they do free Khonshu and he can resurrect them again, we still have that holding over them, is that you will lose a bit of your mind, sanity, whatever.
Yeah. And
soul.
I guess, as well, because people, I mean, one of the things that loonies were against in regards to this legacy kind of thing is then having Mark be Moon Knight was what made kind of him special, I think. But now, like, he's part of Long Line. But I think Jed's done a really good job in making him a unique sort of Moon Knight. And by having Hunter's Moon counting him,
it still makes him. It still does separate Moon Knight from other heroes. It's like you can be resurrected, but it's like Doctor Who. There's a cutoff point, whereas you can't after X number of times.
Oh, is that with Doctor Who? Is it?
With reincarnations, although they kind of cheated and gave him more. So, but it was originally that you couldn't do it more than X number of times.
I like that idea as well. So
yeah, I mean, it also means that if at any point Mark isn't Moon Knight and we have a new one, there's a set of rules now becoming established in canon in the last 5 years of like how long that might last.
Yes. Yeah, they're very, very cool. One of them, I mean, off the back of this talk about resurrection, which is for sure the main point here, I think one of the other main aspects here that I really enjoyed, Rebecca, was this seeing this team up. It's like a full issue team up now between Moon
we
Knight
love
and Hunter's
seeing
Moon
them together, you know.
Yeah, but this felt like the actual and official kind of team
This
up.
felt like the first real proper one, not just helping with a thing that Mark's got into, but both going out to do something together.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was fun seeing Hunter's Moon last issue as well, but, you know, he came in and, you know, there was a lot of fighting. This is like, and because they really do have a deep conversation about their powers and what their role is. Oh, hello. Yeah. So
sorry, I'm needed for cuddling. So.
Yeah, very cool. Sometimes you just need, it doesn't matter what time of day.
Sometimes you just want to cuddle.
Exactly. Yeah, so for me, one of the highlights was this teaming up of Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight, and I think they look really well together. I think, again, Sabbatini, there have been some reservations from Loonies about Sabbatini's art, and we've raised this as well, but I still think it's great. And as I think Jed said, augmented for sure by Rachelle Rosenberg.
And here she gets to play with some different colour. I mean, they're the same colour palette, but because we're going underground, so it's a slightly different lighting and
This is such a cool idea. I mean, I never would have picked Rebecca mole men or moloids.
No, me neither. They're always a surprise to me when they turn up, especially in something like Moon Knight. But I like Moon Knight establishing that he believes the whole Earth is his, you know, like as above, so below kind of thing. That was cool as well.
Yeah, that was good as well. Like exactly. His realm is just, it's not only under the sky, it's everywhere.
He's going to protect all travelers wherever they are.
And so, I mean, they go to Subterranea and the Moloids are being exploited by, I love it, Commodore Planet's henchmen who are dressed up as sailors. You know, so I don't know, I think it's pretty funny.
Which is very funny.
Like they look like, was it Gene Kelly from, where was he from? Was it Singing in the Rain?
Oh,
yeah. Just they look like him with the very traditional sailors outfits. But again, just a quick flashback. You see the Moloids, they're drilling or doing something. Is it revealed, Rebecca? I can't remember. Planet. What are they? No. But we see a little flashback at the Midnight Mission or the House of Shadows. There's a Moloid there. Still in tatters, still in a loincloth, coming to Mr. Knight. So we get
for help, which is very sweet.
Yeah. Another main aspect, Rebecca, I guess, would be this. As we know, we spoke to Jed about him dividing and cutting up the stories. We bounce back and forth to Zodiac and Plesko, but this would be a good.
I mean, like they have a good long chat, and we also get a little flashback to Plesko with Mark, with Frenchie. Hooray! First Frenchie appearance in this run, right? Not just a mention. First actual bit of Frenchie,
That's right. Hang on, I should go back to the. There's a nice little sepia. Little Frenchie. His eyes are covered, but I think you can still see a little bit of moustache.
You got the moustache.
Got the moustache.
So that matters.
But the idea here, though, I guess Zodiac is trying to get underneath Plesko's skin, and he makes the point of. Mark feels really guilty about his past. You don't seem to be weighed down by all the terrors that you've obviously done alongside Mark. So that kind of gets under. I mean,
he's also philosophical about psychopathy in America versus perhaps elsewhere.
Zodiac,
the Americans. He very much likes carnage. Apparently,
someone
has to. I'll get into trouble for that one.
I want Victor. I want Vic to hear this, and what,
Yeah,
what are you
I
saying?
want Doctor Doom to come bop him, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm on Team Doom there. I'm sorry.
I'm definitely Team Doom.
Yeah.
No one else toots horns, so
Yeah. But yeah, so he's just a little, as Jed said, he's a little shit.
Yeah.
Zodiac. Happy to say it in his cell. But I think, as we mentioned, as the conversation goes on, there's talk about. I love his talk about officer guilt. Basically, Zodiac talks about everyone has a conscience. They have a little version of themselves in their head, and officer guilt, like, in your head. And he said, I've killed mine.
Yeah.
I like to kill my cops. And so he's really distancing himself from his original identity. I mean, he mentions his name Terry again, or whether that is his name, Terry in the when he was undercover, I guess, in the Midnight Mission. But he really does want to go by his new name, Zodiac, as well. But then, as I mentioned, we'll get to Senior Planet soon there, Rebecca. As I mentioned towards the end here, Plesko has the last laugh. So again,
I do love that panel of his little eyes. When Plesko's saying "Soldiers fine," you see
Soldiers
little,
fine.
eyes.
Yeah, you failed, Zodiac. I love it because...
And also, I like that Plesko just walks out the room after he drops that. It's like, nah,
mic
you didn't
drop.
win.
Yeah. There's nothing better than disrupting a smug person, and Zodiac is so damn smug. I love it. I loved it when he kind of got his comeuppance here.
But it's also, this is where he threatens everyone who hangs out with Moon Knight.
Yes. I mean, true. So, like, Zodiac to me is a far more effective villain. And I think Jed has a lot more fun with him than, say, Tutor, because we know the Tutor was the guy that is the big bad, right? He's the guy that employed the likes of, was it Rampage? I can't remember that. There was a,
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, Rampage, Zodiac, all these, Hawley, who was the guy with the sweat. So he was big bad, but Zodiac still has this kind of...
Well, Zodiac's really thought about it and really studied Moon. Like, he's picked Moon Knight for a particular reason.
Yeah.
And he has really gone for it in ways other people have maybe been scared to.
Yeah.
And he's really, really serious about it. So, yeah, and then this final panel.
Oh, actually, I forgot about this panel. So this final panel... It is kind of like over Zodiac's final words to Plesko are kind of overlaid onto this.
Yeah.
So what do you make of this panel, Rebecca? Because I don't recognize these guys.
Anything of it. Like I think it's just this is a hint of what's to come.
They're not connected to Zodiac.
In a gun.
Are they connected to Zodiac?
I mean, the implication by having his words over there to me is that they are.
Yeah, and then him threatening Moon Knight's friends,
while they've got dynamite and bullets and
but you have everyone. You have everyone there as well. You have Plesko, and it looks like Soldier. I could be wrong.
I mean, that could be Soldier.
I could be wrong. Actually, I don't recognize Dr. Sturman is under there.
Yeah, Dr.
for sure.
Sturman's there.
And I can't make the other three.
I don't know the other three. I mean, there's a moustache there. It could be Frenchy, but he looks like he's dark skinned, so maybe not.
Yeah. So this is like, I guess, as aspects go, this is one of the
Could be Deitrice up top. There's some slight pink hair. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I just don't know. Yeah. So
wild speculation there. They have very pink gloves. Is my other thought, and very red hats. These things do not match.
And masks, and they adorn they adorn issue 20.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to find out more about them. So
I wonder who they are. Anyway, so that, I guess, Jed's left us with a huge kind of question mark as to what is, but that is an interesting point as well, Rebecca. I mean, Zodiac threatening Moon Knight's friends, and his narration overlaid over the last page, and we see it. So I don't know whether he's kind of pre-planned this while he's been in custody or something, but we'll have to see. But very interesting indeed. We should go back, Rebecca, to the guy that adorns the front cover.
Yes.
Some really great kind of fight. So, bouncing between Zodiac and all that, we see Moon Knight Hunter's Moon jump into subterranean fray. A lot of kicking, a lot of throttling as well. Rebecca, very nice. Again, I mean, we talk about the splash pages.
Yeah.
Jed's
great. Yeah.
Yeah, Jed says it's so easy. He can just write a couple of words and she's got a whole page done.
No, he said he feels guilty, but they are so impactful that it's hard not to, and the artists are killing it. So both Sabbatini and Capuccio. Obviously Rachelle Rosenberg, but so the splash pages are always a real joy in this run.
Yep. What did you make of Commodore Planet?
Like, he was just kind of. I mean, he wasn't. His appearance in it wasn't as big a deal to me as I thought it might be. But it was cool to see him again. It's always nice to see people sort of pulled in from older stuff. So, But it was a pretty easy fight for them, right?
It was, and I have a little quibble because, and I don't remember it fully, but for those that do remember Volume 1, where he does feature, and it's only Moon Knight versus Planet in that instance, and he's super strong. Like, I enjoyed it when he gave Moon Knight the bear hug here. And I thought he actually cracked something because the sound effect was, I thought he actually injured him. Well,
it's Moon Knight saying it, so I figured it just hurt. Oh no, there is a crack.
Yeah, a little crack. But my little quibble was that Commodore Planet seems to have been incapacitated by, boxing the ears. Fair enough. I mean, that's pretty hard.
Pretty hard.
Only from what I remembered though, from Volume 1, and again, I mean, God, they're different volumes, but comic book fans, Rebecca, we do have a tendency sometimes to try and knit things together. And Commodore Planet, he just seemed to have been beaten a little bit too easy. And maybe that links to what you were saying, Rebecca, about you didn't really mind him too much because he just kind of came and went. I would have liked, a little bit more resistance or something. But I don't know. Did you think that?
But it's always cool to see them coming back. But it was a fun fight, but it was over pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him, at least in another issue or something, try to... but in any instance, we get happy, smiling Moloids in the background, so that's pretty good there. The splash page here with Commodore laid out, and the Fists of KHONSHU doing their job. That's the other thing as well. Like, I mean, I mentioned I like seeing them both together. There's something, I don't know, like there's something classical or just really nice about having two fists.
Yeah, it's a really good addition.
I'm hoping Hunter's Moon stays on, for at least them fighting crime and solving stuff together for at least this arc. Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had Moon. We've had Tigra as well, and that's been great. But the fact that these are two, counter opposites or whatever, or part of the same thing, Fists of KHONSHU just makes it really, really cool to see them both in action. So I really hope that he sticks around for a longer while. And we'll have to.
I agree.
We'll just have to wait and see. Any other points here, Rebecca, that you want to raise before we give this a score?
I don't think so. I think we've covered all the big important parts.
Yeah, I think so too. And we got to that last page. We're just going to have to wait and see. I can't remember, Rebecca, the solicits for 20. Is it?
I can pull it up quickly.
Yeah, here we go. I've got it.
Okay, cool.
So it says here, because I've got that fandom, that wiki. Thing on. So next issue, this is what I only want to do this, Rebecca, see if we can tease anything out. There's blood on the streets as assassins work their way through a list of names containing those who once formed a Moon Knight shadow cabinet, but with a... Oh, okay, so the people on the last page, Rebecca, they were from the shadow cabinet.
Yeah, the shadow cabinet.
Yeah,
okay,
so I think the black-haired lady, I think she's Mercy.
Right.
but with a number of potential targets and no idea who's next, how can Moon Knight save his former associates? Okay. Plus, just in time for Black History Month, a second story in which the
this
Crescent...
is where Blade comes.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. In which the Crescent Crusader crosses paths with the sheriff of the Vampire Nation, Blade, which was incidentally Was it Blade Nation? Was a great little one shot. Did you read that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was really cool. Working for Dracul,
Yeah.
Blade unwillingly. But okay, so it looks like if I just before we do our scores, Rebecca, I'm just going to go back to that last page again. So it would seem that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people are the Shadow Cabinet. So that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So now we're gonna have to try and protect them before they get whacked.
And it's really open season as to who would have a vested interest in getting rid of them as well. So I think Jed's playing with a clean canvas here. But anybody's guess as to who these guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Alrighty. Well, out of our KHONSHU rating system, Rebecca, what would you give this one? Issue 19, Blood Moon Rising.
I'll probably give it a 7, I think.
I would,
because it's setting the scene so much, and
Yeah, I would totally.
I want to get to the meat of what's next.
Yeah, I totally agree as well. I enjoy the art, the colors, of course, and yeah, Jed's, he's as I said, he's very consistent. He keeps a few threads going, so we've got Zodiac still happening. Now we've got these weird Shadow Cabinet assassins, and we've got a forging relationship between Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight. So yeah, all looking good. But yeah, it hasn't really, I don't know, reached some of the heights of some of the prior issues,
Yeah.
Rebecca.
I mean, it's made us excited about what's coming next, but now I want to get to what's next as well. So it has the sort of double whammy of I'm excited, I'm interested, but I want to get to it.
Yeah, excellent. So there you go, Looney listeners. Check it out if you haven't already. But before we wrap things up, Rebecca, of course, we do have quotation marks, some Looney feedback. So would you be so kind to maybe read the ones from Instagram first?
Yes, so we only have one from Instagram, which is from Metal Gun Talk. And they say, kind of a bunch of talking. Learn some lore mechanics, though. I find it funny how KHONSHU's resurrection power just makes you go hollow like in Dark Souls. Haha. I've not played Dark Souls, but that is kind of funny.
No, thank you, Gunmetal. Yeah, I read this verse as well, and yeah, I mean, hopefully, the talking and the interaction between Hunter's Moon and Moon Knight, there was enough action there as well. But I think all of this stuff is very important to.
Yeah.
I mean, Jed's trying to build Hunter's Moon into the lore as well, and as you mentioned in your comments, yeah, the lore building as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, of course, not everyone's cup of tea, but hopefully you enjoyed it and stay on board for what's to come. Now, just a couple here from our Facebook group. Mario Digicom, he did send a message saying that he will catch this show a bit later. Mario says, I'm sort of mixed on this one, frankly. While the art was ace, as always, especially the scenes with the moloids in Subterranea, the story felt like a lot of setup with very little payoff. While having the crutch of easy resurrection taken away will certainly change the way Mark works and likely lead to a jailbreak sometime down the line.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, there you go, Mario.
I didn't read Mario's comment first, so okay.
Cool. Yeah, no.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's hoping for it, I'm assuming. Yeah. Mario's, he raised it. The whole conversation between Plesko and Zodiac, while interesting from a philosophical standpoint, doesn't exactly make for engaging reading. Okay, kudos to Jed for making Zodiac's manifesto fascinating without also making it attractive in any way. However, that's good. At least we get a hint of the next arc. I still don't know who the guys in the masks are, but I believe I've identified some of the photos on the table as former Shadow Cabinet members. Yep, which matches solicits. Exactly. Bottom line, 7 out of 10, same as us, Rebecca.
If this podcast proves anything, is that we don't read your comments beforehand, so as not to sway us too much. So.
Yeah, but also Mario, that we're very on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So 7 out of 10. Yeah, not Jed's best issue, but still one of the best books out there. No, thank you so much, Mario. Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I like that, Rebecca, not reading it before we go in because it's
I try
fresh.
not to. I like flick.
Yeah,
I
me too.
sometimes flick them, but I think that otherwise I'll end up
getting influenced or.
Yeah, well, it's more like stealing someone's idea or not coming to it sort of entirely from like sort of my views. So I mean like So I'm always interested in what people have said, but I try very hard not to read those threads too much.
Me too as well. I mean the shorter ones I probably do flick over. But yeah, definitely. But thank you so much, Mario. That's awesome feedback as always. And lastly, we have Dan Katz. Hi, Dan. I don't think we've heard from you in a while, or maybe before. I love that after all these years, Commodore Donny still fell to the same ear clap weakness, and Mark took full advantage of that tactical.
Nice.
Very cool. Yes.
Very good.
So
right. Okay. Good.
I missed that.
I missed that too.
Right. So he did box his ears in the first one. Yep. So Mark took full advantage of that tactical information, letting Hunter's Moon take care of him. Fantastic. Full marks there, Dan. Far out. I forgot that little bit. But I just remembered Commodore Planet just throwing Mark all over the place in Volume 1. But yeah, you're right. I guess he boxed his ears at the end to stop him. So easy fix there. Easy fix. Rebecca, I think that pretty much takes us out for this. We did pretty well, I think, considering it was a free for all.
Probably lucky with the issue it was for that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So Loonies as well. Yeah, be sure to pick it up if you haven't already. It's out now. Check out those lovely variant covers as well. They look so good too. Well, Spectacle, Rebecca. So you were mentioning are you recording anything?
I have done a Lost Sons of Krypton.
Lovely. Yes.
And on Superman the Wake. And the next DCAU one is going to be Reign of the Supermen. So we're sort of following that Death of Superman DCAU vibe through the comics and then back to DCAU. So
Nice. Yes, on my end, nothing much yet. I'll be recording some stuff down the line. But I have been banking, Rebecca. I've been recording some bonus episodes for Patroni.
Nice.
So I have a few, and I've got a couple more lined up as well. So again, if you please consider becoming a Patreon member, and what I'm trying to do, like I did last year, is one bonus episode a month. It's basically... It's on a lot of things, or anything, Rebecca. So it's not necessarily Moon Knight related, but hopefully you'll get a kick out of all the discussions up ahead. As always, a huge thank you to our patronies, as mentioned at the top of the show, but a shout out to everyone there. I'm going to throw you up onto the screen. Odin saw Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank, The Think Tank, Derek O'Neill, Justin the Owl Osgood, Wayne Hunt, Josh Johnson, Anthony Sitko, Russell Moran, Mario DiGiacomo, Matthew Howell, Jonathan Sapsid, and Dan Newland. Thank you so much for all your support. It really does mean a lot. And check out patreon.com/ITK Moon Knight if you want to become a member as well.
Yes.
Also, particular thanks, again, I've got to shout our sponsors, Frank the Think Tank. He has a podcast, I Want to Fight It podcast with his nephew, Pablo Candy Bar. Fantastic.
Oh,
really fun stuff. They fight monsters and they come up with tactics and stuff. It's a lot of fun. So go check that out. Odin Sword on Drinking Marvel podcast. I'm not sure if they're entirely active at the moment, but they've got a nice back catalogue. Go check it out as well. Drew Toombs, producing great music, and he's still producing some new stuff this year. Check it out on soundcloud.com/Toombs with a Z, or Lurk Music CK that is Luke Music with a CK at the end, .bandcamp.com. Daniel Doing, still going strong with his creator-owned Fringe Night. Please support him on patreon.com/fringenight27 as well. And CLZ Comics, go check it out. Get your database sorted there at collectors.com, and Dreamland Comics, use the code MOON to get 20% off their online store. Finally, we are part of the collective Rebecca. Fantastic shows that Rebecca does as well. But a whole slew of shows out there. I've got to give a shout out.
They cover everything. They literally
cover everything. Absolutely everything. I'll give Capes and Lunatics a shout. They do like a gazillion shows. And Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast there. Yeah. Good friend Noel and Russell doing great stuff there. Finally, contact-wise, you can contact us on email, feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We've got a website as well, and we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube too. Just check that out. We are live streaming all of the current content, and there are some extra videos for Patreon members for certain episodes or such. I think that about wraps us, Rebecca.
Yeah, I think that's pretty done and dusted.
What's on the plans for the rest of the holies? This day off?
The day off. I've got a lot of days off this week actually. Nothing much today. I'm going to watch this Reign of the Supermen, and so I can podcast about that, and then just some relaxing because getting to 2 on Wednesday. So,
are you reading any graphic novels or any old storylines?
I just read Iron Man Noir, which is amazing. Superman the Wake. Mm-hmm. And I am now reading Tales of Suspense, but not reading it on Marvel Unlimited, so going right back to
nice.
Just the Iron Man, starting at the Iron Man one, which is 32, 39. It's in the 30s, so
okay, nice.
We'll see how long I keep that up, but because it's a hell of a undertaking to try and read all the Iron Man content.
Yeah, gosh, that will be, but it'll be quite interesting to see all the different kind of eras. So just at the moment, old wise, I'm just reading. I've just finished the first trade again to the Peter David's X Factor. Nice. I think I mentioned about Gambit having the 3 cats and all that. So that's where I'm picking that from. So that's really cool. Just really good to go back, and I'm reading through again the original Spider-Verse, just because I really enjoyed it. There's the omnibus with
I've always wanted to kind of read that, actually. Like, I've read bits of it, but not the whole thing in its entirety.
Oh, okay. Have you got a copy, or?
No, but I've got Marvel Unlimited.
So. Yeah, and they'll probably do it in the reading order as well, because it bounces between all the. It's really satisfying. I just remember when it first came out, so reading it again and really enjoying it again. The Inheritors and all the different Spider people. So
yeah, for sure.
Listeners as well, just let us know what you're reading as well. We've got I forgot to mention the Discord channel as well. It's going great guns, and keep posting some stuff up. Let's discuss Moon Knight and or anything else. But until then, may KHONSHU watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Hey everyone, bye.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.
Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to make sure you know all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on all new episodes of Wade's World, Boob Windows and Long Boxes, our Hard R movie reviews, and so much more, all completely uncensored. Access starts for as little as $1 a month, full videos when you pledge $3 a month. Check us out at the link in all of our show notes, or just go straight to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.